Every day, it's been a day for sure. When you're going through things, you just never really know what type of day you're gonna have. Sometimes you can have a really emotional day. Sometimes you can have a really good day, and sometimes you can have a really mentally draining day. But I'm getting through a lot right now. But I did want to come on here and say this. To anybody that may be a people pleaser, right? I did not know that I was a people pleaser. And the reason why I didn't think I was a people pleaser is because I never had a problem with defending myself, right? I always saw people pleasers as individuals who would basically, let people take full advantage of them, and they never would speak up for themselves. And I guess I always thought that because, I would stick up for myself, or, if things went left, I would always get out there and let a person know, hey man, we're not doing that, so on and so forth. I never thought that I was a people pleaser. But in what I'm going through right now, I've had to say, well, maybe Jazz, you may not have been the type of people pleaser who will let a person just completely run over you, but you have been the type of people pleaser that tries to fix everything for everybody, right? People come to you with their problems, people come to you with their issues, and you jump up and quickly try to be like, okay, what can I do to help? Even if it means that it's going to take a lot of your energy and a lot of your time and a lot of your resources to make it happen, you still jump up with the quickness to try to appease people who come to you for help because you don't feel like you can turn people away. I had a couple of very specific situations in the past where I would jump up and overdo and overextend and oversupport and overfix, all for the person to get what they needed, get what they wanted, and then treat me like a piece of shit at the end of the day. So from those experiences, I was like, you know what? This ain't nobody's fault but my own. I can't even blame them because I shouldn't have even gone this far. But I've done the work over the last few years to basically understand that some of my need to hyper fix and hyper support and hyper whatever came from me being a people pleaser. Feeling like if I help this person, it's going to help them see me for exactly who I am, not really realizing that I didn't need to overextend myself to get these people's approval. Well, over the last couple of months, by me enforcing those rules and boundaries, I've seen some of the nastiest sides of people, bro. And what I was able to realize, or what I've been realizing in all of this, is that if a person is just a piece of shit, you can tell them no up front, in the middle of the process, or at the end of the process. You can check them up front, in the middle of the process, or at the end of the process. It doesn't matter. They're going to act however they're going to act because you simply won't believe they bullshit. You tell them no, or you enforce very strict boundaries that say, I see who you are. I see what you're about. I'm not dealing with your shit. And I'm going to protect myself against whatever you may try to do to me, from mind games and manipulations and lying on my character and all of that stuff like that. I'm going to protect myself because I know you're still going to continue to do it, even though there's a boundary set up here. The boundary is for my protection, period. So I came to the understanding that in addition to me trying to overextend myself and people please for people so they can see what type of good person I am, this has revealed to me that a part of me was also trying to avoid having to deal with conflict, unnecessary or necessarily, depending on the situation and the circumstances, because who really wants to deal with conflict? What I'm going through right now, it is stressful as fuck. It is stressful AF. But it really made me pat myself on the back, especially on the good days where I have the energy and I can muster up the courage to say, don't let the negative emotions and the heavy emotions that you experience while you go through this deter you from the fact that you're feeling those heavy emotions because you put up boundaries. It's just a part of the process. And no, today was not a good day, but you know what today was? Today was a day that I got through. It started off a little rocky. But with a little bit of effort and a little bit of motion and a little bit of movement all combined, I was able to end my day on a more positive note than how it started. And in those moments, I say, congratulations for getting here, because you are going through a process of feeling things and feeling emotions that belong to the process. These feelings may not belong to you or the people who are violating you. Feelings don't always have to be assigned to somebody for them to make sense. Sometimes there are feelings that belong to the process. And because you're allowing yourself to feel this, you can tell yourself, in validating your own self, I'm feeling this because I put up boundaries. And everything that I was trying to prevent didn't necessarily prevent it 100%. But what my boundaries and rules are doing are keeping me safe. They're giving me the opportunity to feel and then come out of those feelings and enjoy. You hear me? Enjoy the good. Whether the good is a span of a day, 2 days, a week, or just a little piece of my day at the end of the evening, those boundaries bring the clarity that I need to still be able to pull out some of the good times, or still be able to exist in the good times and the good feelings and the good emotions and the good thoughts. Because without those boundaries, I don't feel like any of those good days and those good moments would exist. Now, I'm going to say one more thing and then I'm going to be done, because I know I'm going a little bit long on this story. But here it is. I recognize that some people just don't like to be told no. I recognize that some people are just abusers. I recognize that some people are just users. I recognize that some people get pleasure out of, twisting your arm to get their way. I also recognize that some people like for you to come and kiss their ass. But I also understand, with everything that I just said, that sometimes a conflict arises because there's just two very strong opinions that are polar opposite. And because there are a difference in opinion, it doesn't mean that offenses have been created. Every situation does not require for one party or the other to come and apologize. Sometimes situations happen, and those situations are experiences that reveal character, identity, mask, facades, realities, characters, heart posture. Even though you don't agree with it, that doesn't mean that anybody is wrong, because what works for you, and what works for somebody else works for somebody else. Now, there's always a better way to live and a worse way to live. And if a person chooses the latter over the former, then that is up to them. Some people are okay with always being in drama, always being in conflict, always having mess going on in their life, because they know how to handle that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that just because that's what you prefer and I prefer something else, that you got to come and apologize to me or I got to come and apologize to you. We can state our piece. We can go through the process. We can let it all play out however it's going to play out and stay in our respective corners. But I'm not kissing no ass, and I don't expect for nobody to come and kiss my ass because I said what I said. You said what you said. That's just enough for us to simply understand that we don't need to have any deep interaction, deep connection, any further business transactions or anything in the future. And I thought that that was good clarity that came to me today. That just because we disagree, that does not mean offenses have been created. And if nobody's truly been offended, nobody has to apologize. I'm not expecting for nobody to apologize to me. I'm not expecting to apologize to anybody. I know sometimes that people feel like an apology is necessary so you can ease their pain, but you are not responsible for putting a bandage over somebody else's wound because they feel like offenses are created, when in all actuality, they're just standing on their truth and they have the right to do that. Should you choose to stand on your truth, don't sit around and expect me to come and apologize for standing on mine. But sometimes, we don't know exactly how we're showing up in the world. And, you might be showing up in a way that got people thinking you goofy, or they can cross you, or they can try you. But that's not your business. That ain't got nothing to do with you. That don't have shit to do with you. Teach them when they come to you, not to try to clock people for their own advantages and their own benefit. Let them know that it don't work here. Because I guarantee you, if they are true to their form and their nature, if they don't get it from you, they just gonna go out and look for somebody else that they feel like they can take advantage of and draft a benefit from. And that's fine, you know? Just as long as they don't come over here in your area, in your space, you know, pulling that bullshit with you. But what it's also let me realize is that I'm a very valuable person, bro. I bring a lot of valuable skill and a lot of valuable talent. Because when I tell people no, baby, they get upset. It lets me know that I stand pretty strong on morals, and, you know, my morals and integrity and my ethics are pretty strong, because when I have to check people, they feel the effects of me letting them know, no, that ain't working. That ain't happening over here. We not doing that. And so I'm not saying this to be arrogant or to my own horn, but I am saying that I really didn't need other people to validate that for me the way that I thought that I did. And so I'm recovering from those pathways of thinking and from those perceptions that I used to have that said you need proof and evidence from others to validate what you already know about yourself. But even in the people pleasing and the people displeasing, but both the negative and the positive experience have validated to me what I shouldn't have even been searching outside of myself to validate. See, it's easy if the experience goes well and people say, oh, thank you so much for doing this and thank you so much for doing that. It's easy for us to take that as something positive and use that as validation. But what this has taught me as well is to also look at how a quote unquote negative interaction with somebody can also validate you as well. Because if I wasn't who I say I am, you wouldn't even be throwing a tantrum. You wouldn't even be mad. You wouldn't even be doing what you're doing. You wouldn't even be coming back, you know, trying to make sure you're still in my good graces. You wouldn't be doing any of that. Even though you didn't get your way and you crossed me and you wounded me and you bruised me and you attacked my character, you're doing this and you're giving me a negative experience because you want what I have to offer, and I'm telling you no. Come correct and you can have it, but until then, no. Oh, and last final point here. Yes, you're going to have people who don't like to be told no, but you're also going to have some people when it comes to people pleasing who you have withheld the truth from because you knew that they weren't going to be able to handle it. But don't do that to yourself, because some people can only exist if people support their delusional reality. And these are the type of people, I'm going to give you an analogy, that when they walk in front of the mirror, they punch the mirror, even though the mirror is just simply reflecting back to them the true reality that they live in. Sometimes you are the mirror. And if you've experienced certain things with people and you can't tell them the truth, then that's a problem. But understand that sometimes when situations arise where you have to tell them the truth, sometimes they will get upset with you and attack you and punch you and say all kinds of mean and nasty things to you. Oh my God, trust me, from the experience that I'm going through, it hurts. And it's part of the reason why we people please. It's part of the reason why we don't tell the truth up front. Because you tell some people the truth and they attack you, they tell lies about you, they attack your character. But let me tell you what this experience has taught me. If you tell somebody the truth and that happens, their reaction is just validating why you never told them the truth to begin with, because you already knew this was going to happen. But prolonging telling the truth because you don't want to have to deal with who you know they are, because you don't want to have to deal with that nasty side of them, not your problem. Again, like I said, just because we have two polar opposite opinions about the circumstance doesn't mean that I've offended you or that you have offended me. I have the right to tell you how I'm experiencing you. And if you don't like it, well, we can stand on our respective corners. We can stand in our respective corners. But I'm not gonna come and kiss your ass just to try to ease the pain. And I don't even expect for you to come and apologize to me for causing the pain that I'm experiencing by you attacking my character because I simply said, well, just to be honest, just to keep it real, ... You just didn't like it. And that's okay. That's my experience with you. Now, two things can be true. You could be at a point in your life where maybe who you're presenting as is not truly who you are, but that doesn't take away from the fact that that's the experience that you've given me. And I would hope that the truth would be a place for us to both look at the circumstance and come to an agreement. But if it is not, good luck. Have fun. Be good. Be well. We're both human. We both are flawed. We both are good. We both are bad. We both do great things. We both can fuck up. And unfortunately, in this situation, we are just not on the same page. Can't guarantee you that if we do get on the same page, that's going to make me fuck with you in the future. Can't guarantee that if we get on the same page, that's going to make you fuck with me in the future. But as of right now, respectfully, in good taste, and in love, and with prioritizing goodwill for all involved, have a good life. We never have to talk again. I'm not offended. I hope you aren't. But the boundary is placed. And if you don't like it, too bad.